Nice to see a cameo from El Tiempo in Spain. So great stuff. Thank you. Let's take a look at what is happening in our province, although we know Valentine's Day is upon us. So we'll talk weather in a moment. First, though, we have to get to the real priority, which is ideas for Valentine's Day. That does look good. It sounds good. Thank you so much for some ideas, Kevin, on that. We want to talk temperatures, though. It is not going to feel all that lovely as we go into the weekend in terms of temperatures. We have the potential of picking up anywhere from, say, a centimeter or two of snowfall. This one's coming from this clipper system that is moving through. We do see breaks in between these spells of unsettled weather. But again, it's not going to be a massive snowstorm. It's just more of a nuisance. And really the bigger story is going to be the cold that builds in behind it. So the snowfall forecast from now through Thursday, slightly higher in Ottawa, Pembroke, and up toward northern Ontario. And again, across the 401, largely looking at less than 5 centimeters. I think in Toronto, in the GTA, considering the urban heat that's created there, it's probably going to be about less than 2 centimeters of snow. So it shouldn't be too much of a problem. This low does miss Boston because it develops more so as it's offshore. But this one coming in for later in the weekend is going to be a problem for Boston. And guess what? There's yet another one on the way to the Great Lakes Basin. Thanks so much, Chrissy. Yeah, it does look like a lot of fun. Are you a fan of technology? I know I am. And technology can be our friend when it comes to weather conditions. Here's Kelly Noseworthy with more from Oshawa. All right, thanks very much, Kelly. And Oshawa today, we're going to be sitting at around -3. We're in really the warm sector of this clipper system coming by. But behind that blue line, yeah, that's when the temperatures definitely are going to plummet. It'll be about, -12 by the end of the week. We do see some spells of dry weather between the scattered flurries expected from time to time over the next 3 and 4 days. 5 to 10 centimeters to the north, less than 5 centimeters across the south. And I know you've been doing that because you know that your local forecast is on the 10s, right? So you've been following the weather pattern. We're going to get more details right now on what it's like outside from Kevin Yard. Thank you so much for that, Kevin. And yes, snow coming in through the afternoon. The morning drive wasn't all that bad from the snow perspective, but we do have a couple of centimeters on the way. Let's take a look at our short-term forecast. The overnight low, -11, feeling like in the minus teens, and we'll be stuck into some decent wind chills for the next few days. We've got a series of low-pressure systems coming in from the west because of the way that the jet stream pattern is configured, and some of these become big storms for Atlantic Canada, and even some of them, especially the Saturday-Sunday storm for Boston, where there's an emergency that remains in place. Boston is, of course, dealing with historic snowfall. We don't need any more there, nor do we really need more in Atlantic Canada. But for us, on the other hand, Saturday, not looking at all that much. And Chris, it's also a labor of love. Think of the time investment to create that luge track. Pretty amazing stuff. But when it comes to other winter endeavors, it does come down sometimes to money. Here's Kelly. And Kelly, we have a clipper coming through that's going to be bringing a little bit of snow later on today across southern Ontario. We would probably not see more than about 5 centimeters of snow. Could be a bit of a nuisance for Toronto and places like Oshawa. But the colder air is the big story for the weekend. I'm Sheryl Plouffe with your forecast conditions. We do have some snow and some colder temperatures on the way, which I'll get to in a moment. You know, we know that urban centers continue to grow year after year and populations really exploding in some cases. Kelly Noseworthy is in Oshawa, or was there earlier, talking to the mayor about what impact that's having on the city of Oshawa proper. Thank you so much, Kelly. And let's turn our attention now to Valentine's Day coming up this weekend. Let's turn it over to Kevin. He's got some ideas for us. Thanks so much, Kevin. 2 people have to share the... No. Okay. Let's take a look at the cold. I probably eat it in one fell swoop. Okay. Thursday through Sunday, forecast temperatures. Notice Orlando. This is the daytime high on Sunday. So those of you traveling south, maybe for family day, for Valentine's, visiting family and friends just because it's winter, yeah, we're dealing with some cold across, well, the eastern part of the whole continent is going to be in it pretty good. What we do have right now, though, is this warm front that's pushing through. It's helping to moderate our temperatures now, but the cold air is definitely on its way behind the cold front. And between now and the weekend, we're really going to be seeing the temperatures plummeting. In fact, on Sunday, we have wind chills in the -30 range. So that gives you an idea. At times, we get breaks between the spells of scattered showers that are expected, or snow showers that are expected. We could expect later on today to be picking up less than 5 centimeters of snow from the clipper. Thank you so much for that, Emily. Let's get into your forecast details because we do have some very cold air. Emily was just talking about that. It is on its way. Now, we do have some snow in the forecast as well. That may begin in Toronto and through the GTA. The overnight low, though, notice we're down into those wind chills in the minus 19 range. So it's getting a lot colder behind this cold front. That blue line pushes through. We do have scattered flurries from time to time over the next 3 or 4 days before things dry out, and at times some spells of some dry weather in between. But largely, we're not looking at any huge, massive snowstorms, but still 5 centimeters or less can cause problems in Ottawa, Toronto, and Montreal. This low-pressure system, it does miss Boston. It comes with some scattered flurry activity, but it does strengthen for the Atlantic provinces, and then we've got really a series of them coming through because of the way that the jet stream is configured, where it rises up in the west and it digs down, talking about polar vortex, digging down across the east with cold temperatures. Notice the wind chill on Sunday.
Force of Nature
I'm
is
Sheryl
brought to
Plouffe
you
with your
by
weather update. We have a
Nissan.
clipper system
Conquer
that
all
is moving
conditions
across
with the
province.
all-wheel drive
And we'll have more
crossover
specifics on
lineup
the
from
amounts of
Nissan.
snowfall expected with this coming up. But suffice to say that Montreal, Ottawa, and Toronto are getting some snow a little bit later on. Once it passes through, though, the story becomes the cold, and with, again, about 60% ice coverage on Lake Huron. Georgian Bay is pretty much frozen over at this point, but there could be some lake effect that's setting up through this region. So just something to be mindful of. All of the snow then moves away. We do have some gusty conditions for Thursday with some flurries expected and much colder temperatures on the way with some evening flurries Friday as well. So of course the impact on the commute in the GTA today with snowfall will be unfavorable. I'm Sheryl Plouffe with your weather update. What to expect in terms of snowfall totals? 5 to 10 centimeters over northern Ontario. To the south, Ottawa, Montreal, Toronto, and even Windsor, less than 5 centimeters of snow. But less than 5 centimeters of snow can, of course, have an impact on the commute, and we'll talk more about that coming up. But what we want to note here is that the cold temperatures come in behind that cold front significantly, and we're talking extreme cold already in place across the north. Look at the 7-day forecast in Toronto. There is a wind chill on Sunday of minus 30.